ask away.
We're wanted men.
Welcome to episode 131 of the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast. Jason was trying to give me finger sizes because I always forget what episode it is. But hi, Jason. I'm Glenn.
Hi.
There's Jason. Jason, how you doing?
I'm good. What's a stormtrooper's favorite store?
I don't know what.
The one next to Target.
That's great. I try to get a bunch of dad jokes, and I can never remember them when it comes time to record.
The second I get a Star Wars dad joke, I write it down to try to remember it for the show. Otherwise, it'd just be lost in my brain somewhere, and I'll never see it again.
Yeah. That, and I do follow a couple of dad joke pages on the Facebooks and the on the interwebs, and I try to remember them, but I never can. So maybe I need to start trying to write them down like you do, and then we can have dad jokes. More dad jokes.
More dad jokes. That's what everyone loves.
Everybody loves a dad joke. Hey, do you know when a dad joke stops being a dad joke?
When it becomes apparent.
Yes, or starts being when it becomes apparent. But don't bump.
There's an alt for that one. Do I still have that? I have that one written down somewhere. Stall. Talk about something.
Mandalorian season 3 started this week. We've got Mandalorian showing up at Galaxy's Edge in Florida.
I got it.
You got it?
The alt for that one is when it becomes fully grown. When does a dad joke become a dad? When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes fully grown. Anyways, moving on.
What
were you saying about Galaxy's Edge?
That shoot, now I'm looking up emails. Grogu and Mandalorian are in Florida.
Yeah, they made their move this week.
Yeah, I wonder how long. And then they were supposed to be in Shanghai also, right?
Yeah, but all the photos I see from Hollywood Studios is that he's just mobbed.
Yeah.
People are around. Do you know how they control the voices on those things? Should I reveal the magic?
If you know how. Okay, so people, if you don't want to hear the magic, fast forward like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Because there's a way that I guess I'll just get into it. It's all hand gestures. Mm-hmm. It's wired up in their hands so that if they make a specific move with their fingers, they move their hand in a specific way. That's how they talk. So if they're holding their gun or blaster and then they kind of make a move, they'll say, hey, you move along. And then they'll move their fingers again and I don't like you or stuff like that. So that's how that.
I always thought it was like touch pads or something where you touch your thumb, but if it's that's pretty that's pretty cool that there's an actual motion to it.
Yeah. I was wondering how they did that with Adam Driver's voice because, you have character actors saying lines and meet and greets all the princesses and they speak with their voice. I just assumed that they were speaking with their voice, but Captain Phasma and Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, those making me scratch my head. Like, how do they do that? Is there a voice changer in there that's really good? Because, look what they did with the Mandalorian and Mark Hamill, his voice synthesizer making him sound so young.
Yeah. That, and I'm wondering how they do Grogu. Do they have a guy like in the background with the remote doing Grogu, or is he doing Grogu, or it would be fun to figure that out because I've done the same thing with you where you're watching the hand gestures and there's never a hand gesture when Grogu's moving.
It's got to be someone in the crowd, just kind of in civilian, clothes, just hands crossed, controlling something with their hand and moving him back and forth and blinking and smiling and all that.
Yeah.
I would assume.
It'd be awesome to see live. Our buddy Cole saw him like that same day. He works for Disney, and to be 20 something and live that lifestyle of being a cast member at Disney and being able to just wake up and go whenever you felt like it. That'd be pretty amazing.
Pick anything up this week?
I had the opportunity to pick up a couple of things, but they were just out of my price range and just couldn't make a deal happen. So I passed up, which then both of these kind of hurt. The one hurts a little bit more than the other. One was a Bill and Ted First Shot, and the guy was wanting about 100, 200, between 100 and $200 more than I was willing to pay for it. And I kind of feel with that, not to toot my own horn, but with that kind of stuff, I kind of feel like I'm one of the few people that are interested in it. And I've got to control the market, help control the market on that. So I think, if I'm willing to pay more, pay up, then that'll make other pieces go up. So I got to kind of, not jump at stuff when it's overpriced. But it ended up selling, so I have no clue. It was on Deal or No Deal, so I have no clue what it ended up selling for. I know what he was wanting for it. And then I had a shot at a Galactic Heroes hard copy that was the Emperor, which I want to get into something with you. I kind of mentioned it. I sent it to you on Messenger, but I want to kind of talk about it here while we're in this, so we can wait till after. I'll wait till after you're done.
No, go ahead, talk.
Okay, cool. But it was the same situation where I didn't have enough money to make the deal happen. And I'm trying, there's Toylanta at the end of the month. And I'd like to have a little bit of money to have fun at Toylanta, even though I probably won't find anything. It'd be nice to have some money to have fun up there. But, all right. So it was a hard copy of an Emperor, which I collect the Galactic Heroes, and having a hard copy would be cool, but it's not a character that I like. So would you buy something just because it's part of a collection? It's a hard copy of something you collect, but it's not a character you like, even, or do you just kind of pass on it and wait for a character to pop up that you follow?
Yeah, it sounds like you have character focuses, not a line focus.
Right. So would you buy it because it's a line, even though it's a line that I focus on, Galactic Heroes, would you buy it to be a line focus versus a character focus?
Well, if you're character focusing, then I wouldn't buy it.
But if you're line focusing,
yeah, I would. Like I'm focusing on Micro Machines and Action Fleet, the vehicles from the smaller vehicles, the non-Hasbro line, non-Kenner line. So if something comes up, then yeah, I might grab that. But if there's a Kenner X-Wing that pops up, no, that's not really my focus. If another, I don't know, action figure, Hasbro, something like I follow the line. I don't follow the character. You follow characters. I thought you followed the Galactic Hero line, but apparently it's just characters.
Well, it's a combination of both. Even though it's not a character, because it was an Emperor. I don't know if I mentioned that. And it's a cool looking piece, but there again, it's like I would be spending money on an Emperor hard copy. I don't know. I play this game in my head when it comes to spending a lot of money, where it's I'll either buy it or I got to think about it for weeks.
I guess you got to close your eyes and just think to yourself, do you love it?
Yeah.
Will you love it? Or do you want it just because you have the opportunity to buy it?
I think that's more what I'm getting at is, do you want it because it's an opportunity and it'll never come up again? Like the Bill and Ted First Shot, I would have loved to have had that. That would have made, because they were both about the same price. And the Bill and Ted First Shot would have meant more to me than the Emperor hard copy, because I'm trying to do a Bill and Ted run of First Shots.
Yeah, I wish you had got those Bill and Ted.
I would have loved to. I mean, I even pushed it a little bit further, and the wife would have been mad at me if I'd have bought it. But and I'm also really jaded because I got such a good deal on my Bill and Ted run that it's hard to spend more money than that.
Yeah.
So did you get anything?
Just some small things. Like I said last week, I went to IKEA and I got bored and I wanted to see if there was a Micro Machine shirt, and I couldn't find one, but I did find a Galoob shirt on 80s Tees. So
nice.
Now I have a Galoob shirt. So I picked that up this week. That came, and then I also picked up. I went to Second Chance and I got a Dengar and a Forlom, a vintage, because I didn't have those in my collection, and that's a character Forlom, not a Kenner Forlom. Like in Kenner flip-flop the names on there. It says Forlom and not Zuck. It says Zuck is not Forlom, but it's actually Forlom. Anyways, right. I got those guys.
Nice. Well, you know why they flip-flopped them like that. Okay. Well, let's tell people, because Forloam, one of the guys at Kenner came up with Forloam, and they pinned it to, because which one's Forloam's the gray one, or
Yeah, the buggy looking. Yeah, I guess they're both buggy
both
looking,
buggy.
but
Yeah,
the protocol droid with the bug head
is Forloam.
is Forlom.
So he came up with Forloam, and Zuckuss was the tan one. And then they flip flopped the names because he didn't want to say, well, I named this guy. And oh no, you actually named this guy. So it was all a money thing with Kenner, why they changed things
Lucasfilm
around.
didn't want to have to pay licensing or royalties to anyone who named things. So if the guy said, I named that Forlom, Lucasfilm could come back and say, no, we named that one Zuckuss.
Yeah.
So it was just to strip that down. But yeah, I picked that up because we announced the London thing, right? Or
London.
Ryan's announced the thing he's working on for London.
The ice cream patches?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been announced.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because
as far as I know, that's been announced. I don't know. I'm assuming.
So.
Yeah. Well, if they haven't been announced, we'll just get yelled at by Narayan.
Yeah. Well, it's a bounty hunter patch set. It is an ice cream patch. And it does follow it's like the next series of the ice cream patch set, that the Wilbur Hood thing that we did for Celebration Anaheim, and I'm making another commercial for that, a vintage Palatoy looking commercial. So I didn't have all of the bounty hunters, so I had to go pick up 2 of them, and so closer to finishing my 92 run.
Nice. I do have a question. I know Toylana's coming up, and you guys did the running of the hoods, and there's talk of it. Y'all did the running of the hoods last year, and there's talk of it happening again. If I just bought like an orange t-shirt versus the whole outfit, because it's going to be 2-3 years before I wear the uniform again.
Yeah.
Would you think I get away with that, or should I go for the whole orange jumpsuit?
I think you should get the orange jumpsuit, or maybe find a white one, a cheap white one, and dye it orange.
At that point, I might as well just buy an orange one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to save you some money.
They're like $30.
I thought Wampa Wear. Okay, then get it.
You thought what, Wampa?
Wampa Wear is the one that makes the heavy duty, real good cosplaying ones, but I think they're sold out.
Maybe because of freaking Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Do what you can. The more the better. So I have less eyes on me as I'm running, and all the G.I. Joe guys are like, what's
going on? Well, no, there's not going to be any G.I. Joe guys at this one.
Allegedly.
Well, here's what's funny is you and Narayan were so stressing out over being like legit at Celebration.
Yeah.
And you see half the guys don't even care.
Yeah, well, the Wilbur Hood people are very specific. You have to have specific wear or clothing and stuff for that. So that's why we were stressing out, making sure, because we really wanted to do the Celebration run.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that orange flight suit from Wampa Wear is $130.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one you have?
Yep. That's the one I have.
Man, you're committed.
Yep. But I don't have to worry about it because I've already bought it. Inflation drives that prices up. I'm locked in. I've got mine in my closet.
Yeah. That's a lot of money for a jumpsuit to do a gag, but
yeah.
If you're gonna do it right.
I have some news, so we can get into that. But I have a question, and I'm just like thinking at the top of my mind as I was looking through the aisles at the toy store or Target in the toy aisles. Black Series and Marvel Legends packaging are now boxed, so you can't see what's inside. But Transformers has like an opening, so you can see the Transformer. And I'm just like, why? Why can't I see the figure before I buy it? Even if it's just a small little opening, like,
yeah,
here's Din Djarin.
I noticed that. I don't know why they do that, because I was looking at Target. They had one of the super packs of Transformers, and it was on clearance. And I picked it up because it had a Bumblebee in it, because I like Beetles, and Bumblebee was a Beetle in this battle pack. And I noticed that they had slits in it so you could see, and it was specifically on top of each figure, so you could at least look in it and go, oh, okay, that figure's in there, that figure's in there, and at least check them. But yeah, Is it more expensive to do that?
I don't know. Maybe because there's a die cut, but I don't know. Like, seems like it would just be easier and kind of put some of the concerns people have about buying something without seeing it to rest.
Because even on the Transformers, don't they do something crazy? Or they do they? No, they don't have any plastic on it, or they do.
No, they're plastic free, but they just have a little opening at the top so you can see the transformer inside.
Okay, maybe on the cheaper ones they have the. They don't have any plastic. It's open, or you can even touch the figure.
Maybe it's a way to, because isn't like the new figures now just wrapped up in like a wax paper?
Yeah,
So maybe if it's all wrapped up in a wax paper, they save money on having to twist tie things to the back. It's just easier just to wrap things up, throw it in a box, and ship it out instead of
right.
having to twist tie it down and make sure that the weapons are secure. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
my question.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I noticed that what they'll do is if they wrap it up, like the cardboard insert has a little pop out that they put the figure in, and I don't know. I haven't bought a Black Series that looks like that, so I have no clue how they package them. But I know, I'm curious how they do the weapons.
Yeah.
Is it? I know on the other things that they have like an open window, the weapons are kind of tucked away on the side.
Mhm.
But I have no clue how they're doing the Black Series because I have no interest in the Black Series. The last one I bought was the Boba Fett, the Dad Bob Boba Fett, and it was $10, but it was still plastic.
Yeah. I don't know. Hasbro announced a gem this week on Amazon. The Black Series carbonized Ned B and the Purge Trooper set for $75, which I'm at a loss. I don't want to go down this road again, but they make it so easy. Who is asking for this and why? Ned B is peg warming at Target right now. Like, that's a $35 figure. 30, 35, 30-ish.
Are they just deaf or,
I don't know because, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I don't know. No, you're good. Hasbro just are clueless.
Yeah, I mean, you do market research and you've got to see people groaning and moaning saying, enough with this. It's not cool. We don't
Because
want this.
I know Yak Face totally went after him for doing that set because it's a worthless set, and then you're going to charge $75 for that. It's good. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants it. And it's not even a character. It's not even like a fan favorite character. It's just a guy that was in the background.
Right.
He's a bender.
I don't get it. I don't get why Hasbro would do that. It's ridiculous. Because I'm certainly not going to buy it. I didn't buy the first set. Nobody wants to carbonize. The only one I kept, because I had some credit stuff, but
Yeah.
like the credits, I kept the credit Mandalorian because I paid like $10 for it or 13. I paid underpriced because it was at a yard sale, not a yard sale, but it was at the Powder Springs show.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cool looking, just because the Art Deco style to it. But nobody wants that crap.
Nobody wants it at that price either. It's just, it's mind boggling. Like, why would you do that? And Galactic Figures, which is a website, posted this week because it's the lead up to Mandalorian, that Mandalorian premiered in 2019. How many Mandalorian Black Series figures do you think they've released in that time?
The original Mandalorian
From season 1 to today,
Din Djarin,
that version of the character.
Mm-hmm.
How many figures have they released?
Okay, so is a Black Series or as a TVC?
No, just Black Series.
Just Black Series. So they have the OG one. They have the Beskar one. They got the snow one. They got the mud one. They got the carbonized one. They have the credit collection. So that's at 6. And I know there's probably 1 or 2 I'm forgetting.
13. They released 13 of them.
Oh
I didn't list them all out, but yeah, they've released them 13 times.
Oh, because then you've got a couple. Then you've got probably a Beskar one with Baby Yoda, and then you probably got the other one with Baby Yoda, and
you got the one with Ahsoka.
Oh yeah. Did they do a Black Series with Ahsoka?
Yeah, that was it was a 2-pack. It was like $60. It was an Amazon maybe exclusive. The only thing new was Ahsoka came with a cloth cape, and the Beskar spear was part of that set. Those are the only 2 items in that packaging set.
So let's go spend another $60 for a freaking cape and spear.
Why not? Rosario Dawson. So some of this is old. So this is like news from the past couple of weeks. So I apologize if someone's in their car listening and doing their work or something. And like, that's old news. On the Today Show a couple of weeks ago, Rosario Dawson was talking about Ahsoka's premiere date. And she said that's probably going to come out this fall. We're going to have Haunted Mansion come out in August 1st. So sometime after August, we're going to get the first season of Ahsoka.
I need to watch that whole Haunted Mansion trailer. I did because you're in the middle of doing stuff. You're on Facebook while you're walking down the street or whatever, and you see that film. The I saw the teaser image pop up, and I'm like, is that Rosario Dawson? So I have to watch that just because she's in it. It the little bit I saw of the trailer looked pretty good. It looked better than the Eddie Murphy version because it looks like they're taking it a little bit different, and it looks like they've got some good actors in there.
Yeah. My only concern with it, and it could have been just an issue with the trailer, the tone seemed off. It seemed a little bit more humorous than scary. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. Well, maybe
And
it'll be a good combination.
maybe they were just trying to lighten it up and say, hey, this is a family friendly film. And then you get in there and it's like, oh, this is kind of
Ooh.
scarier than I thought.
Yeah.
But
I'm
it did
sure
look
that
fun.
I'm sure it'll be fun with some jump scares in it. And it's Disney. They got to make it family friendly.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm biased because I do like the Haunted Mansion, the ride. And so it's like, you really gonna make a movie out of this? You really, like, sarcastically, come
Yeah.
on, really? You think you can do that?
Well, look at what they did with Pirates of the Caribbean. It's one of their greatest
Yeah,
franchises.
absolutely. I don't know how they pulled that one off, but that first Pirates is an amazing film. I love
Yeah.
all of them, but the first three are special in my heart.
Exactly. I mean, they were great, and it is one of those. It was a good movie, and I think it. I don't want to get on. I'm getting on a rant, but anyway, I think it's a good movie. It was a good way to start a series, and then you just get politics and all kinds of other crap involved, and it
Yeah,
just repeats itself. But yeah, they were good. They were good, and I think it was also you got your kids get into it, and when your kids get into something, it means a lot more to you. What?
I did pick up more than I thought
Oh,
because
what did you get?
I didn't cover it all. Well, I'm looking at the news and like the Inquisitor ship, Micro Galaxy Squadron, and
Oh
the
yeah.
Rancor LAAT went up for pre-order.
Hmm.
In my notes here, it says a placeholder on Amazon for the Inquisitor ship from Obi-Wan appeared on Amazon. No pre-ordered orders open just yet. I've got it in hand. Same
that
thing with
shit.
the Rancor. That those were supposed to be dropped on May 4th, and it was like pre-order for May 4th, and then the next day you get an email. It's coming this Friday.
Yeah. You came over last night to grab some stuff, and I showed you that Rancor and that Rancor lat, and those people the micro galaxy stuff is so incredibly detailed for as little as it is.
Yeah,
The rock, there's a top piece on top that pops out. You get to see all the rockets. The thing pops down, the ramp pops down. You could put a speeder bike on it, and um, I just wish there was an easier way to get more troopers for that because my lat doesn't feel right not being full of troopers.
yeah. As Max said, the intent with the blind packs is to kind of build up your characters. So if you had got the was it the RTAT, ATRT, whatever it is, it comes
Mm-hmm.
with those clone troopers, and then you can just take those clone troopers and put them in your ship.
Well, I may do that. You had pointed that out last night, and it was just late, and my brain was gone. And I was like, "Where was I that Jason mentioned that we could do that?" I'm like, "Oh, that was in my basement."
Yeah,
So I may do that just to kind of build that up, build that lat up because they have space for like 6 or 7 troopers on that thing, clone
yeah,
troopers,
yeah.
and I think it would look really good filled with troopers.
Yeah, that's why I hope they do something with stormtroopers soon because I want to fill up the Imperial troop transport.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now it's just two.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna have to do something where you can get some army build some of those guys soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. We asked them about that because the Imperial troop transport came with two, and we're like, "How do we get more? Do you plan on doing a troop builder pack?" And Max said, "No, that's the intent of the blind packs is to build up your characters."
Yeah.
The only fault is like how many Ahsokas and Mandalorians do I need?
Well, that's like you were saying last night. You're like, you need the baby Yoda and the scout trooper, and you're like, why am I going to buy more Blind packs.
Yeah, I'm complete with Series 1. I just need that one blind pack, but I don't want to open up 60, 70 blind packs to find the one.
Even though you're getting on the when you order this stuff on Amazon, it seems like you're getting all the chase, but it seems like for some reason it seems like they sent the case of chases to Amazon.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. I can't explain how I got lucky with the Amazon stuff.
Yeah, I mean maybe you could trade that for that trooper with Grogu.
Possibly. I got a couple more things here with the Micro Galaxy Squadron, and then we can move off of that.
Yeah.
The Marauder was available at Macy's around the holidays for $50, which was $20 over MSRP. That just goes to show you what Macy's does with all of their stock. If it's overpriced, chances are it is, because it's supposed to be a $30 product. That was a Target exclusive. Somehow it landed on Macy's. I didn't want to buy it because Jazzwares is saying this is a Target exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow Macy's got it. I'm just going to wait for Target because I'm not paying $50 for it. It's sold out at Macy's. So if you go online right now, it's like a $250 ship.
Jeez.
That's what people are asking, and it's what it's selling for on eBay. I think it's that FOMO, fear of missing out. So people are just bidding it up because they feel like that's the only way they can get it. But in one of our Micro Galaxy Squadron Facebook groups that we're part of, somebody emailed Jazzware and said, "Hey, what's going on?" Jazzware said, "Yeah, just wait this spring."
Okay.
So cool. if you want the Marauder from the Bad Batch, which looks like it's a great ship, it's coming to Target this spring.
I have a feeling if we're just patient, we'll find stuff for Micro Galaxy. It's really, really weird right now, the distribution of it, because you're not seeing, it's not in order. So now that Wave 2 just came out, now Wave 3 is coming out with the Lats, and now Wave 4 with everything coming on Amazon. So it feels like it's disorganized, or maybe Target's messing stuff up. I know I've said it before, but I truthfully think Target clearancing those things out messed up the distribution of that line.
Yeah. Speaking of some of the intrigue of this line, I don't know if intrigue's the right word, but StarWars.com officially showcased Series 3 of the Micro Galaxy Squadron, which included Poe's X-Wing, the black and orange version, the V-Wing, General Grievous' Starfighter, which is a rare of 1 of 15,000, Anakin Starfighter, Plo Koon Starfighter, which is another 1 of 15,000, Ayla Secula's Jedi, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Jedi's Interceptor of 1 of 15,000. What I didn't see in that announcement was the chase vehicles, 1 of 5,000, which I thought was interesting. However, an image kind of appeared in the press releases that was distributed, and it had Poe's X-Wing, the white and blue version, but there wasn't a carded image of it. So I'm like, that must be the 1 of 5,000. But they didn't announce it, which is weird, and it's not on the back. So I wonder if Jazzware is kind of realizing maybe we shouldn't do the chases. Maybe we should just stick to the rares.
Maybe
that's enough. Because I know a lot of could, again, be just confirmation bias, but it does seem a lot of people are getting frustrated and they're stepping out of this line because they can't get their hands on the chases.
Yeah, I could agree with that, because we're all completists, and you're gonna, and I truly think you have people that are at Target, because I see it all the time, or Walmart or whatever. They're checking their phones, scanning the barcode, going, "Oh crap, this is going for $300-400 on eBay," and they're picking it up just because it's going for $300-400 on eBay. They have no desire to own the ship. They just want to make a quick buck. And part of me can't blame them, but it just sucks as a collector. And it's don't pay $300-400 for it on eBay, and it'll help soothe the market.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It'd be cool if they went back and redid like Sabine's TIE Fighter, and just as a chase, so they put more, not chase, a rare, so put more out there in circulation, change it up a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see.
It'd be nice. I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll do something. I just don't know. I don't know what to I don't know what to make about the whole situation. I'm being a Rebels fan and wanting that ship for the last 10 years. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. And then I have a bunch of Mandalorian news. Obviously, Mandalorian dropped this week, so some of this was leading up to it. But it does talk about the future of the show and the whole Mando universe. So we can get into that, and then we'll break down Chapter 17, The Apostate.
Do you want to go over? We got an email. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that after we break down Chapter 17?
Well, let me finish up the Mando news, then we can talk about that email, and then we'll go into Chapter 17.
All right, cool.
So Jon Favreau is doing the rounds to promote season 3 of The Mandalorian, and he has confirmed that he's already written season 4. He said, season 4? Yeah, I've already written it. We know where we're going. We have to know where we're going to tell a fully formed story, so we mapped it out. There is a rumor of a possible writer's strike this summer. So if there's a writer's strike, that means they can't write anything. So it might be a good idea to have it written. That way the pre-production departments, Doug Chiang, can start, working on concept art for season 4. And then they can finally just jump into it when the writer's strike concludes. I'm sure that's going to happen, but
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If they do a writer's strike, that means they probably won't do anything because everybody seems to support each other when it comes, in Hollywood.
Yeah. There's a rumor that season 2 of Book of Boba Fett is being worked on, and Jon Favreau was on Jimmy Kimmel this past week talking about him working on 3 different shows at the same time, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, and he kind of cut himself off. Well, actually, Boba Fett, I'm working on 4 shows, Mando, Skeleton Crew, Boba, and Ahsoka. So I think that's confirmation that they're working on a season 2.
Wow. As long as it don't end with them laughing, I'll be all right.
That was weird. I did, going into season 3 here, I did watch those 2 episodes of The Mandalorian on the Book of Boba Fett, I guess.
Yeah.
And those are just stellar episodes. Just great episodes.
Yeah.
The Filoni one and the Bryce Dallas Howard one.
It was funny because one of our friends had commented. He's like, "When did Grogu go back with Mandalorian? What did I miss?" And everybody's like, "Dude, did you watch Book of Boba Fett?" And he's like, "No." It's like, "Well, you may want to go back and watch that."
Yeah, catch up.
Yeah, catch up because there were 2 episodes. At least go watch the 2 Mando episodes of Book of Boba Fett because it catches everything up right there.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you got this written down, but somebody had, or John, in the same the training time. Do you have that written down?
No, I don't think so.
Apparently, Grogu and Luke spent 2 years together training.
Yes.
That's the time jump.
Yes, there's a time jump there. I didn't have that as news, but yeah, it's about 2 years.
Well, we're talking Mando, so why not?
So there's 2 years actually between the end of season 2 of Mandalorian and the start of Book of Boba Fett.
I guess.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm just thinking.
I'm thinking that's what happened.
Or a year and a half, 2 years, something like. I would say more a year and a half, but yeah, year and a half, 2 years.
Because then if there's another year and a half, well, if he spent 2 years working with Luke, once we see Grogu and Luke in the Book of Boba Fett, that's when Luke is kind of feeling that Grogu's heart's not into it, and he gives Grogu the choice, and that's when he takes off and he goes to Tatooine.
Or there would at least be 2 years between the end of Book of, but when Luke picks him up on the Moff Gideon ship and gives him the choice. That would be 2 years.
That's 2 years. Okay. That's the 2 years. That's the time jump.
Yeah.
2 more pieces of news. Favreau said that he has no end plan, so there's not like a final shot in his mind. He's just telling the story, and it'll be over when it's over. Mm-hmm. But he also confirmed that it will not end with season 4. So I would imagine this is like a 5 or 6 episode thing. Because at the start, didn't Giancarlo Esposito say Juan Carlo Esposito? Thank you. Didn't he say something like in season 5 and 6 we're going to learn more about the First Order or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, it was either 4 or 5, or it was several seasons ahead that he was talking about. So I guess we'll see what their plans are. Dude, it's just after everything and after the first 6 or 7 episodes of Bad Batch, Mandalorian was just it was just so good. Anyway, I know we're getting into that in a minute, but yeah.
And
after
then,
go ahead. No, finish. Go for it. Go.
This is a good talking point. Executive producer, so he's been promoted to executive producer. Rick Famuyiwa, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, recently told Games Radar that the adventure gets bigger during the show's 3rd installment. He also said that the characters you meet might be as iconic as Luke Skywalker. So I'm like, who is as iconic in Star Wars as Luke Skywalker? I mean, Hondo is not that iconic compared to, and when you put him on the same pedestal as Luke,
right?
Is Han and Chewie? Are we talking Carrie Fisher?
You're talking the episode 3 of Mandalorian? Or are you talking?
All he said was the adventure gets bigger during the show's 3rd installment. So I don't know what that means. Episode 3, if we're talking 4 through 8 or what's going on, but I mean, who's iconic as Luke Skywalker?
Dude, we've already met Ahsoka, unless Ahsoka joins. I seriously doubt Ahsoka's going to join up. Yeah, it's the Fab 5, Fab 4, whatever. So, I mean, unless Chewie comes in there or Lando, you got C-3PO, R2D. Well, you already seen R2D2. Why would he tease C-3PO, though?
He didn't. All he said is characters as iconic as Luke Skywalker. And I'm just thinking out of top of my head, like, who's as iconic as Luke Skywalker? Mickey Mouse?
I mean, I truthfully think that, the big teases that they would, when you say stuff like that, you're like, all right, is the Grand Admiral Thrawn? It's like, no, they're not going to do that in Mandalorian. They're going to hold that for Ahsoka.
But he's not as iconic as Luke Skywalker.
No, I mean, maybe in the EU, but not as in a whole.
No,
not as a whole.
I think you're 20,000 feet in the clouds and you're looking at Star Wars and you see Luke, Leia, and Han. You see Darth Vader. You see Ben Kenobi. Everybody else is not as iconic as those guys.
Dude, I'm racking my brains thinking who could it be?
I just hope that he's not talking, too high.
Yeah.
Setting expectations too high.
Right. And truthfully, Mandalorian's just such, God, this episode had a lot of teasers in it. And, It was just such, like I said, after the lackluster first half of the Bad Batch, going into the Mandalorian was so refreshing.
The Bad Batch was incredible this week.
This week, it's finally getting good.
This was really good.
Yeah, you're finally getting a feel for where they're going with Bad Batch. And I hope that they're not trying to retcon. They didn't do Bad Batch to retcon the sequel series, or at least show what's going on with the sequel trilogy, because you're getting that feeling with Bad Batch.
I don't think they're retconning. I think they're just explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, do you want to read the email?
Yeah, let me read the email.
Or do you want me to? I think I have it here.
Let's see. Where is it? All right. So this is from our... go ahead.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to say something.
No, say it. What were you going to say?
I was saying, do we really want to talk about the snipe service and call them out, because we could be adding to people sniping us on auctions.
I won't mention the snipe service.
Okay, all right. Okay, go.
Okay, so this is from our buddy Barry. He goes, "Hey, Glenn and Jason, Glenn. I've been trying to catch up on episodes, but have been rolling around in my head. But this has been rolling around in my head for the past few weeks. You frequently talk about missing on eBay auctions at the last second. As you surmised, it's usually snipers. I've been same frustrations for a long time, and it became a beat or join them situation. When you see auctions jump up in the last second, it usually is a couple of situations." He goes, "Someone has placed a high max bid and a snipe is going off in the last second, or it increases the max bid to an increment over the snipe bid, or it beats the max bid by an increment. And then number 2, someone or multiple people who had set up a snipe to go off in the last few seconds of an auction. So if you're the high bidder, even within 3 to 5 seconds left, those snipes go off and it's not enough time for you to make another bid. I no longer minimally bid on auctions ever. Couple of reasons. Number 1, people get competitive and bid again. As soon as they get outbid, it ends up running up the price when 2 or more people are interested. I do that just to be a jerk. If I'm trying to bid on something and I see that somebody's done the max bid, I will just, hey, you're not going to get this for cheap. So I try to bid it up. So if I'm a jerk for doing that, hey, don't put a max bid in. Because you can kind of feel when people are max bidding you. So you're bidding on something and you're bidding at $32, and then so then you bid it up to $35 and it's still somebody outbid you. You can kind of feel maybe they went to $50, so you'll push it to $40. And then if it's still, so then you kind of stop. I shut it down. I don't run it up a bunch, but I'll run it up $15, $20. And if that's me being a jerk, that's me being a jerk. But I'm not going to let somebody get something away from me for free, for cheap.
Yeah.
Shrill bidding. You put your max bid. Hey, this is exactly what he's talking about. Shrill bidding. This is what I just said. You put your max bid in, then a seller uses it as an alternate account. So maybe this to run the price up. Ideally for the seller. Oh, so the seller would do this.
Yeah.
Ideally for the seller to close your max bid, but not over, to get close to your max bid, but not over. But sometimes they end up winning the auction, but then they just relist it. Okay.
Yep.
I've heard about that too, where people are using an alternate thing just to kind of run their bid up.
Some people are jerks.
Yep. And then he gives what snipe service he uses. We won't list it just because, just cause. It's free with 4 winning bids per month, and then you can pay $7 per year, which gives you unlimited features, unlimited use of it. He goes, I set my bid, then forget about it completely. If the bidding goes over my high bid ahead of the end of the auction, I delete my snipe bid and move on. If it's something I really want, I'll set the bid really high and hope it doesn't get anywhere near that. He collects baseball cards for one player, and recently a true 1-to-1 card came up for
one
auction.
Of one?
It says 1 of 1 card came up for auction. He put a high bid in of $350 and won it for about $100. He said he's fairly certain if he had manually placed a bid, I would have gotten into a bidding war with somebody and ended up paying more than the $100. He goes, however, this turned into much more of an essay than I intended. Hope you both doing well and looking forward to seeing you guys at Toylanta. Best regards, Barry. Yeah, Barry, Toylanta, end of the month, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you for the email, Barry.
Yeah, so it was an interesting look into how to use the snipe. I didn't realize they were that easy to use.
When I read this, I'm just like, you're handing the seller a blank check when you use a service like this, because then they can just bid it up.
Yeah.
And there's no law. They could bid that up to $345 if your max bid is $350, and then if they lose out or something, they just resell it or relist it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think eBay kind of did themselves a disservice, because you used to 10, 15 years ago, you could see who was bidding. Now they kind of they hide the bidders, so you can't see who's bidding on anything. You can kind of guess because you can see, okay, this guy's bidding, but you don't know who they are. So I don't know. I am eBay is just getting, unless it's a buy it now or something like that, it's getting ridiculous.
Unless it's like something that's very rare, like you were saying, 1 of 1, or like that Ewok, not Ewoks. Is it the pilot thing that was upside down I was talking about a couple of weeks ago? You can't find that in a toy store or a toy show. So I guess in cases like that, you have to use eBay. But if you can do it and talk to someone in person and buy an exchange in person, then that's probably the preferred way.
Yeah.
So thank you, Barry. We'll see you soon.
Barry. Yeah, man.
So you want to talk about Mandalorian Chapter 17, the Apostate?
All right, yes. Let's talk about Mandalorian Chapter 17, which really bothers me that they do it, the Chapter 17, because you don't Okay, it's not like episode, you know, season 3, episode 1 or whatever. So you kind of have got to know what you're looking at.
Well, I guess I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I enjoy that because it does remind me of like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 9 of the Star Wars series. So they kind of have their own thing. It's chapter and it's a continuing story.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I guess more for if I'm gonna go. I don't know. I have to see how they break it up on Disney Plus, but I guess they do break it up by season. So that's just me being me.
This episode was directed by Rick Famuyiwa and Jon Favreau. I think I did better with the name that time.
Who is that? Who is that guy? Is he somebody we should know?
No, he was one of the X-Wing pilots in season 1 when they were kind of that breakout episode. When they go back to the base and a couple X-Wings flying. Deborah Chow was one of them. Dave Filoni and Rick was the third one. He's also directed a couple of the previous season episodes.
Okay, cool. I know. Okay, so I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. So we open up. I thought this was cool. The sound of a furnace firing up.
That was
such the credits.
Such an awesome way to open open it up.
Yeah, the armor was making a helmet. It very much reminded me of episode 1. Mandalorian. I need to stop. Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Directed by Jon Favreau. He's a lot of that movie was him pounding away on the steel and stuff to make the suit. And so it was just kind of cool to see a little bit of that in the Mandalorian where she's making the helmet, cutting things. I did question, the only thing that can destroy Beskar is Beskar. So is it some sort of like Beskar welding technique? Because she was able to cut the Beskar steel as she was folding and making the visor of the mask. And I was just like, they made a whole big deal. Like the only thing that can destroy Beskar is Beskar. So that spear of yours is a problem.
Yeah.
Am I just thinking too much here?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe she just knows how to deal with Beskar.
Maybe.
But
maybe
yeah,
it's
you're
a
right.
secret only she knows.
Yeah, maybe that's why she's the armorer. Or she keeps dipping it into that the well or whatever, the forge. They have that big vat of water that she'll put stuff in. Maybe they know a secret, like you said.
Yeah, that's how you do when you make knives and stuff. You put it in oil to temper it and strengthen it. So maybe that's the additive. I don't know.
Maybe she's using a Beskar welder.
What do you call it? Squelching it? I think that's the term. But she puts electronics on it. She paints it blue and she carries it outside. You've got the sound of drums kind of pounding in the background. The Mandalorians, there's about 30 of them.
Yeah.
Who's waiting. And they actually take it to Jimmy Kimmel's nephew. That's Wesley Kimmel, who's out in the water.
He also played the sand person, Tusken Raider.
Yeah, the little Tusken kid. So yeah, he was in that. So this time you can see his face. He plays what do they call it? A foundling.
Yes.
And he's going to become part of the Children of the Watch. Is it the Children of the Watch? Am I getting
No, you're right. It's Children of the Watch. Or
I was afraid I was getting my nerd things crossed and thinking of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, it's something like that. Children of the Watch or some kind of thing like that. I really thought that was a flashback because I was like, wow, that there's a lot of Mandalorians in here. Yeah. And she really built everything up real fast.
Yeah, I thought it was a flashback too. I wonder if that was intentional or unintentional. I'm like, oh, is this him becoming?
Oh, it was totally intentional, man.
Yeah.
Did you notice the visor on the youngling's helmet was really huge, like the 2010 Boba Fett helmet? Fett. Yeah. So I thought it was just a really cool nerd play. Like, you guys know your Kenner stuff, just the normal, we're just going to throw this out there and see if anybody catches it.
So, like, are they allowed to take off their helmet alone to eat?
I'm assuming so.
Because that helmet's going to be too small at some point, and he has to remove it to get a new one. Like, it's not possible to keep that thing on 24/7. How do you sleep in it? I know Mandalorian was sleeping in his cockpit, but like,
I don't know. They have to take it off to eat unless they just do the thing where they lift it up just enough. But and do if a girl Mando and a boy Mando fall in love and they want to make babies, do they leave the helmet on while they're making babies?
I didn't get that far in my my suspension of disbelief.
I don't get that whole thing. I don't understand it. But then also,
Well, it's a cult.
It's a cult. And then I also didn't understand the whole thing where Bo-Katan's taking off their helmet, because in Rebels, it did kind of throw me off, because you had gone so long believing that Mandalorians never take their helmet off. And then you see Rebels and Clone Wars, Mandalorians are taking their helmets off, because Boba Fett never, before this book of Boba Fett, he never took his helmet off. It was in front of people.
Well, Boba Fett's not a true Mandalorian.
Right.
I mean, he is, but he's not.
Right.
He's part of the sect that broke off.
So it's just, it was weird to me seeing Mandalorians without their helmets on when I first saw it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me unless they do it when they're not, at least in the clan, you think when the clan was together, they could take their helmets off. But they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
And it's just,
we should save some time because I know we're going to get into another tangent real soon.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. The ceremony's cut short because some sort of megalodon-looking crocodile pops out of the water, and they do this giant fight with Mandalorians. They're using blasters, flamethrowers. They go up in the air for aerial advantage. They try throwing bombs onto its back shell, but nothing seems to work to injure this monster.
For a second, I was like, is that a mythosaur?
Yeah. At some point, someone's riding a mythosaur. It's got to be Din Djarin. At some pivotal point, he emerges from the water holding his long rifle, and he's, they do that scene from the holiday special. It's got to come at some point.
Well, I thought mythosaurs weren't around anymore.
That doesn't mean they're not around. I mean, they could be just on a planet undiscovered or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Din Djarin arrives, and he blasts the creature with his N1 starfighter. You see blood and guts flying everywhere. And we cut to a scene where the armor really doesn't have much time for the Mandalorian.
And that really kind of broke my heart a little bit, because she was like being such a wrench. You were like, this guy just saved your whole clan with his coming in at the right moment. And you're not going to be like, thanks, Mandalorian.
Yeah, like this whole scene was just to set up for those that didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett and might not understand what's going on. It's just to reaffirm what has to happen. You're not a Mandalorian because you took off your helmet. You need to go to the living waters and the caves on the Mandalore to be welcomed back into this clan. It was just kind of to reaffirm and to say, hey, people who hasn't seen this, the previous season of Book of Boba Fett, this is what has to happen.
Gotcha.
He's got a relic from Mandalore hinting that the planet might not be as poisoned as they think if someone's able to pull a relic off and to carry it off planet to someone else. I think he just really wanted to reassure himself that if I can complete my baptism in the living waters, can I be back? Yeah. She said, this is the way. Like, please do that.
If you want to do that, do that.
But then, so the Children of the Watch, do they not abide by the Darksaber rule?
I don't know.
Because if he has the Darksaber, he can just be like, no, we ain't going to follow that rule anymore.
I think.
Or are they just so devoted to their cult?
I truthfully don't know if Din Djarin likes having the Darksaber and using that as a way to get what he wants.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be a leader. I think he just wants to be a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He wants community.
Yeah.
So anyways, here comes the tangent. We cut to hyperspace. A Mandalorian is sleeping in his cockpit, and Grogu.
Why would there be a tangent come up right now?
Yeah. Grogu, I'm just going to take a nap for about 15 minutes. You wake me up when you're done. Grogu is taking in the beauty of hyperspace. And before we get to where we're going, I just thought that might be dizzying to be in the hyperspace lanes and to see all that blue for an extended period of time. Grogu was kind of taking in the beauty of it, but I just thought I might get dizzy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe that's why Mando was taking a nap.
Do you want to say what happens next?
Freaking space whales.
From
Rebels.
Yeah.
It's from Rebels. I got so excited, dude. I tried to hold my excitement over this because even though it's just a small glimpse into, it's just small. It's huge, but small. I don't know. it's huge, but it was such a quick, 30 seconds. It meant a lot to somebody like me being Rebels because it's like, okay, we're going there. We're going there. It was Purgles, man. It's like, I'm so excited, dude, because
I know. I'll be back.
Do you have to go pee? Because you can go take a pee break. Joe, they're not messing around this year because it's like we're gonna go for it. And you thought Grand Admiral Thrawn dropping Grand Admiral Thrawn's name was exciting. We're gonna give you some freaking space whales.
Yeah.
When if people don't know, space whales are the thing that took Thrawn and Ezra. Sorry, you should have seen Rebels. It's been like
it's 5 years.
Yeah, that's what took Thrawn and Ezra into hyperspace, and nobody knows where they are because they just took them into hyperspace and nobody can find them.
Well, not just that. Ezra used the Force to kind of enlist the help of the space whales.
Yeah.
And the space whales pushed the Star Destroyer into hyperspace.
Right.
So it was through the Force that Ezra was able to communicate with the Purgles.
Yes.
So, and it was just interesting, like, are they there because Grogu's there? Because he's a Force user? There's been rumors that the Purgles knock ships out of hyperspace and they're lost forever. So there's a danger associated with the whales. Anyways, right. Grogu gets scared and he kind of goes underneath and he pops up into Mandalorian's lap because he's kind of frightened. But the shot of the N1 starfighter being so small and the size of the whales, that one shot was just like, that's an epic shot. That's a great shot right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was cool seeing it. I'm excited. It's a reminder that he's hey, Dave Filoni's like, hey guys, I hadn't forgot about you. So here we go.
Yeah. And I like seeing that kind of stuff from animation be pulled into live action because it's like, no, it does matter. It is part of the overall story. This is not something you should have skipped.
Right.
So
yeah.
Anyways, we're back on
very exciting moment.
Yeah. We're back on Navarro, which has become a more prosperous place. It's growing. It's economically successful. There's mining going. The first time we see Navarro, it's scorched. There's nothing living there. Now there's trees growing. There's people walking the streets. There's monkey lizards in the trees. We go from the Purgles to the monkey lizards.
Yeah. How excited did you get to see some monkey lizards?
I knew they were coming. I just recognized the shot from the trailer, and I told my son Harrison, "Here come the monkey lizards!" And then there they were.
Yeah, my wife was even like, "Yeah, look at that."
Yeah,
she was. Hey.
Doing the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah.
So is that what you were doing with the Purgles?
A little bit. I don't think my wife realized what they were because she hadn't seen Rebels, but I woke up early. It was sort of like Christmas morning for me, Mandalorian coming back on. So I made sure to wake up a little early to watch it, which is what I do for Mandalorian. Because I don't want to get it spoiled because you almost got it spoiled. And I feel really bad for you because we're in a chat with a couple of different people and somebody, hey, Glenn, how'd you like that episode of Rebels? And you're like, wait a minute, I didn't seen it. And he was like,
shush.
He was like, stop it. No. And then I noticed like the rest of the day you were radio silent.
Yeah, it sucks because I'm on social media to monitor, people are crazy on social media. So if they say something bad about my company, I can't let that sit for an hour. Or if there's some sort of safety concern because it's in construction, hey, look, you've got a down wire at this. This has never happened. I'm just saying this is the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Someone messages me on Facebook, hey, look, you've got a down wire at this project. I need to be notified of that immediately so we can take care of it.
Right.
And I can't avoid social media. Like, it's just something that has to happen. So when a message pops up, I look and I'm like, ah.
So you're that guy that when I was having issues years ago with an insurance claim and I put a nasty thing on their Facebook page, you're the person that responds to that.
Yes and no. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Long story short, this was when my car was totaled like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever. I had waited like 2 weeks to hear back from the insurance adjuster. And she's, oh yeah, I was on vacation. I was like, you couldn't have told anybody you were on vacation for 2 weeks. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation for another 2 weeks tomorrow. And I'm like, wait a damn minute. I need to get this case settled so that I can settle my end of things. And then I left a nasty comment on their Facebook page. And within an hour, she was calling me going, here's your settlement. So, yeah, that stuff works. Sorry for the tangent.
Speaking of things that work, IG-11 is a statue in the center of town now. Grief Karga comes out to say hi. He's now High Magistrate of Navarro. He invites the Mandalorian to his office. Grogu is just spinning in a chair like a normal kid would. I just love that little detail. Grief kind of pulls us all catches us all up to speed as to what's going on in Navarro. There's mining. It's a very prosperous town. He wants Mando to move in. We don't know why at this point. It's probably because he needs a marshal, but the Mandalorian says no, he's here for IG-11. I don't care what anyone says. Grogu's eating M&Ms.
They're M&Ms or Reese's Pieces, but
they're not Reese's Pieces. That's E.T.'s thing.
Okay.
Although, if E.T.'s a Jedi and he likes Reese's Pieces, maybe he likes them because somewhere in Star Wars, Reese's Pieces is a thing.
It would be funny if they were like orange and brown because they were just all one color.
They're all red.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just a diva. Maybe Grief Karga doesn't become High Magistrate unless he's got red M&Ms on his desk.
Oh, and Grief Karga just speaks so proper. It's almost annoying.
Really?
The way, well, not proper, but his the way he explains things, it's over the top. It's not
he's
like,
all
hey,
business.
He's all business, and he's like, I have this really great parcel for you, and it's like, but you could be all this and that. It's just it's so like old English.
Yeah.
That, I mean, maybe that's the reason, and maybe they want him to sound like old English stuff, but it's almost annoying.
Pirates are in the courtyard. One of the protocol droids interrupts the discussion to say, hey, we've got an issue. The pirates are trying to get into the school because the school is what used to be a cantina where they would get bounties. In season 1. So Grief Karga's changed that into a school to educate kids. Vane is the name of the lead pirate. He's a Nikto. With them, there's a Tessic. I think there's a Kithaba. And Trandoshan is part of this crew. Grief Karga says that the pirate king Goron Shard has been making a name for himself in the sector. Vane really just wants a drink in the school. He's being a jerk about it. The magistrate says, no, come up to my office. We'll talk about it. This turns into like a tense moment, a shootout. I really like the makeup job on Vane because even the actor was able to snarl, and you can kind of see the lips snarl in the character. I think I should just stop a minute and say that the visual effects and the special effects of this, kudos to those teams because it's just incredible.
Yeah.
The makeup, when you get close to Vane, you can kind of see the freckles on his face. The makeup, like I said, when he snarls, it's great. Goron, when we get to him, Goron Shard, he looks incredible. He looks like he just was left over from a deleted scene from a Jim Henson movie. He looked great.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah. What else? Grogu was on point. All of the what are they called? Enzileas? The Babu Frick characters.
Oh, the Babu Frick, yeah.
The droid smith.
Yeah.
Enzalias. They were on point. Guys. They were great.
Yeah.
Having seen Ant-Man, like the special effects of Ant-Man are not as horrible as people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go from Ant-Man to this episode of The Mandalorian where everything looks incredible for a TV show, like, great job, everyone.
There was a couple, going back to the whole battle scene at the start, there was a couple of things you could see, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't enough to suspend belief. It was like, oh, this is a TV show, so it can't be, $1,000, $1 million shot. They've got to do it for $1,000 or something, but it still wasn't bad. What they can pull off for TV shows now is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, and for the price point, because like I said, Ant-Man, they spent millions of dollars, and here you've got The Mandalorian, which is probably just like a limited budget of like 10 million an episode or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a little bit more, but I think it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But there's a tense moment. Grief Karga is faster, and he shoots Vane's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so it seemed like the moment had passed. They were going to turn around and go and leave the town. but one of the friends, one of the pirate gang members, pulls out his gun to shoot, and Mandalorian shoots them all before they can do any harm.
Right. And I had read an article this morning that the whole reason they were mad is because their boss had paid for that to be a saloon, and he turns it into a school. So that's what the whole issue was they were like, hey, we paid for this to be a saloon, and then you go and turn it into a school. That's not cool.
That should have been something they dropped in dialogue somewhere.
Yeah.
Just to remind Grief Karga, hey, we paid for this cantina, saloon, whatever. You need to give us a drink here.
Right. I think they kind of hinted at it, but it wasn't real good.
I didn't pick up on it, and I watched it twice.
Yeah, they mention it, but it's so fast that unless you're paying attention to it, because they mentioned half of the last some kind of treasure, half of some of my boss's treasure went into paying for this, and you want to that, but it doesn't say that to make this a saloon, and now you turned it into a school. They kind of half-assed it, and I think that's if they would have said that, it would have given more to the scene.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't connect the dots, so maybe I need to watch it a third time. Oh, dang it.
Oh, well.
More homework for me to watch The Mandalorian a third time.
Doggone it.
My life.
So
anyways, the following scene, we learn a couple things. Cara Dune was recruited to the New Republic Special Forces. Moff Gideon was sent to a New Republic War Tribunal. He wants to keep Navarro an independent trade anchor in that sector. He doesn't want the New Republic's help. He just wants to be independent, free from all that stuff. And then we also learn why he wants IG-11.
I love it when we think about something for months and months and months and months and months. Everybody's been thinking about how they're going to address Cara Dune, the whole Cara Dune situation for the last year or 2 years, and it's a throwaway line.
Mm-hmm.
I love when they do that because they did it in like Bill and Ted 3 when they have daughters, and everybody's like, wait a minute, at the end of Bill and Ted 2, you were calling them Little Bill and Little Ted, and then in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, the dad looks at him and goes, you remember when you called them Little Bill and Little Ted? And they were like, yeah, Dad. And it's like,
it's a throwaway.
It's a throwaway line. It's something that we've been thinking about forever.
We also learned that he wants IG-11 because he trusts the droid and he needs someone to help him on Mandalore. And so that's why he wants this one.
Did you notice that? And I had to, it was too fast, but there was a bird on IG-11 that flew away.
No. What was it?
I'm curious if it's one of the owls. Ahsoka has the owl.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was the tail, but I had it was too fast. I had fast forwarded it and rewound it and paused it, and it moved too fast to catch it.
Yeah, there was also a bat on someone's shoulder.
That was cool. That was going back to Galaxy's Edge, I think.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's what that is. Maybe it's just another bird. I don't know. I think if it meant something, they would have focused more time on it.
Or maybe it meant something, but I think Dave Filoni is really good about throwing Easter eggs in, and unless you're paying attention, you're going to miss it. And I think that my brain is so hyped up for Rebels that I'm watching for it, and maybe I'll miss something, but go ahead.
Yeah, at first it seemed like all was going well. The Mandalorian Din is working on IG-11, and he fires him back up, and he's working. His eyes are white, but the second he sees Grogu, he reverts back to his original programming where it was a bounty, and he needs to capture the bounty, dead or alive. He falls on the ground. He starts crawling like one of the Terminators. It's a pretty cool scene. They ended up, Mandalorian has Grogu. He throws him to Grief Karga, and then it's actually the protocol droid who drops a statue of Grief Karga on IG's head and stops it.
How big of an asshole are you to have a statue of yourself in your office?
Yeah, I mean, he's got droids carrying his cape and everything. It's very Apollo Creed, very showman. Like, I am the man. I am the guy on top. I am Mr. America. So they take IG to the droid smith, and we see a bunch of the Anzelas. The
Babu Frik characters.
Yeah. And we see them in Rise of Skywalker, and I thought these were great. One of them walks out. What you want? No, cat fix. No, no, the broken. The broken. No, no, no. The cat fix. The broken. Mandalorian is trying to understand. He's like, do you speak Huttese? And it's up to Grief Karga to translate. I laughed out loud when Mandalorian says, no, I need this one. This one's my friend. And not Fred no more. I was just like, that's a great line. The memory circuits shot. They don't make memory circuits anymore for the IG droids. This one Pudu. One of them said, the Mandalorian says he's going to find the part. Grogu picks one up and he wants it as a pet. And the Babu Frick character is going, bad baby, bad baby. It was so great. I love this scene.
Even my wife, I think they did that for, I think that was for, I mean, we enjoyed it, but I think it was like for the wives and stuff that watch it just because of Baby Yoda. And it was cool to have that scene in there.
I thought it was a moment of levity after IG, threatening to kill Grogu. And then what happens next is pretty exciting. So there's just a moment to breathe before we jump into a giant action scene.
Yeah.
But the Mandalorian leaves to find the part. He's teaching Grogu how to fly. He's telling him how to be a Mandalorian. You need to know how to traverse the galaxy. But then he's intercepted by Vane and his gang. Mandalorian says that Gorian should stick to ransoming and kidnapping because he's out of his league, is what he's insinuating. They fly through an asteroid field. It's a pretty cool scene. It reminded me of a mixture of Attack of the Clones and Empire Strikes Back. The Mandalorian does some impressive flying around, shooting around some of those asteroids and the G's that he's pulling. It's got to be awesome. Grogu is laughing through some of this. He's got this sick sense of humor. Like the more trouble he's in, the more funny it is to him.
Yeah.
And that's been throughout the whole show. But the Mandalorian takes him out one by one. They disrupt some of the mining on an asteroid, some of Grief Karga stuff that he's doing. So we got to see some of that mining. He kind of, at one point, they kind of lose the Mandalorian and he ends up flying behind them. You see him appear behind the three fighters. And they turn a corner and dang Ferrick, there is a pirate ship there. It's got like a beak of like a bird, like an eagle on the front. It's almost like one of the Corellian, what do they call it? The Corvettes that they use in Rogue One in a way.
Yeah, I want to go back a second because I thought Mando did some really cool flying, and it did sort of because they were kind of doing an alien vibe on one episode last season, and I think they were kind of giving that alien vibe again. Like all of a sudden you're like, because he was flying, he was like, hold on, we've got one, and then boom, Mandalorian, or we've got him, and then boom, one you couldn't tell if he hit an asteroid or the Mandalorian got him, and then all of a sudden you like the music changes when the Mandalorian drops in behind him and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was there again, some really good Star Wars fighting and through the asteroid belt and everything.
Yep. Turns out King Pirate Gorian Shard is a moss man, a swamp thing, a man thing. He's got seaweed hanging from his face, but he's awesome. He looks like Jim Henson made this character. It's just great throwback, and I appreciate the fact that they didn't use CG. They probably don't have the budget for it, but the constraint made an incredible character like this.
Mm-hmm. And it looked like he went to a really good party the night before because he had glitter all over him.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that excites me about this season. And maybe I need to get into it in a minute, but they have left so many breadcrumbs for the Mandalorian to traverse that we don't know where he's going.
Yeah.
And you've got the pirate, you've got the IG-11 thing, you've got the Navarro thing, you've got the I got to go bathe in water, and then you've got the part that we haven't caught up with yet. So there's like 5 things that he can go do right now, which to me, I'm really excited. They've left a lot. There's a lot still to unpack. Even I know people were poo-pooing on this, but I'm just so excited. Sorry, keep going. Go with this Pirate King guy.
Yeah. So he just takes off. That's all there is to that. They kind of face off each other and weapons are locked. So the Mandalorian just speeds off and he moves faster than all their weapons. And he takes off to Calvera, another planet in the Mandalorian system.
Yeah.
He's at a Mandalorian castle. He is asking Bo-Katan to join Bo-Katan to help take over Mandalore because he wants to go to the waters. I feel like he doesn't want to like step on her toes if she's kind of claiming that land.
Yeah.
He's kind of asking for permission. Can I go there? And she tells him that her fleet has left her, that he's actually in charge of the fleet because he's got the Darksaber. Um, she says that his cult left Mandalore long before the Purge, insinuating that his clan is traitors for leaving them and not being there to support the Mandalorians who were there when the Empire came and purged the planet. They are the children of the Watch. She blames them for the reason that Mandalore is broken. She calls him a fool for his belief that he can become a Mandalore by bathing in the waters because there's no supernatural element to the waters. It's just mines, according to her, where ore was produced. The rest is just superstition. Regardless, Mandalorian believes in the superstition. He believes that he needs to go to that water to become Mandalorian again, and he asks permission for Bo-Katan to go. She says, yeah, it's under a civic center. She named the city. I didn't write it down. But she also said, like, goodbye, Din Djarin, in just kind of like an annoying way. She is not happy with him. She's pretty pissed off. She's powerless. So something's going to pay off there at some point. The only other note that I have, and we can talk about the episode as a whole real quick, it's easy for me to say, the stunt performers who acted as the Mandalorian were in the main credits section of the show. So that was cool on Lucasfilm's part to kind of promote them to the top because they are in the suit more than Pedro Pascal, who gets prime real estate in the credits.
Right. And I've also heard a rumor that I don't think we're going to see a lot of Pedro in this season because of what he's been, with him being in The Last of Us.
That's fine.
And maybe that's why they're doing the whole Children of the Watch thing with him, is so that they can get other actors in there playing the, in the suit, which we didn't really see a whole bunch of them to begin with. But hey, whatever. While you were talking of Concordia, it finally hit me what Concordia is Mandalore's moon. That's a big important thing in the book in Mandalore. Because everybody went to Concordia when the siege was happening and hid on Concordia. So Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm getting excited. It didn't hit me at the time, and now it's hitting me how big Concordia was for them to go to Concordia. So, I mean, he's right off of Mandalore when he's in Concordia. He's on the moon of Mandalore.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Bo-Katan. So, I mean, he's right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just looked it up in Wikipedia because as soon as you said Concordia, I was like, oh, crap, I missed that, what that was.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode as a whole.
And people are poo-pooing on this episode, but people are going to poo-poo on it anyway because they don't know, if it's not what they're expecting, they're like, oh, man, it's not what I wanted, or it's not, wasn't this or wasn't that. It's like, you got to build
setting the stage. Yeah, they're setting the stage. They're putting pieces in place. You've got, what's going on in Navarro. You know what Bo-Katan's dealing with. You know where Mandalorian sits with his clan. You have an understanding of his mission now. He needs to get this part. So I would imagine he goes to Pelimato because Amy Sedaris was part of the premiere. So maybe that's the first place he goes to look for an IG part. Well,
they showed her in the trailer.
Yeah, she's in the trailer. Yeah, but
so I'm curious where he's going to go because I think they've, like I said, they set up so much stuff to go on in this season that it's like, how is he going to do it all?
Yeah, the pirate thing was cool, and now the pirate itself Gorian has a reason to chase after the Mandalorian because he's kind of bested him, and I like that stuff. I like the underworld. I want the twin huts to come back, pull this all together because it's awesome.
Oh, I think there's no way they're not going to. I really think we're going to end up seeing Boba Fett a little bit in this season, just because he's going to need help. He's needing that help. You're going to see him pull out the Darksaber. You're going to see him get all the, because now on top of everything else on the trailer, one thing that they didn't even put is he's wanting to bring Mandalore back together. So maybe he does try to bring, all the forces, what would they calling it? The lost or the stolen fleet or the lost fleet or whatever that all of Bo-Katan's forces are on. What if he is trying to bring them and the Children of the Watch together, which is something they alluded to in the trailer. This season has just got me so, not only the Rebels thing, but the Mandalorian thing, because I've always been a Mandalorian. I the Jedi and the Sith or whatever, Imperials, they can, that's a cool story, but I've been Mandalorian, and knowing that this lore is finally getting its due and it's finally getting there. It's taken us 2.5 seasons, 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and a season of Book of Boba Fett to finally get to the Mandalorian lore. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. And hell, even part of Clone Wars. It's about time we get this in Star Wars. And I am just, wow. I'm looking forward to this season. I looked forward to this season the minute I saw those Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And part of me, when he's going in the castle, I'm like, I know this is Bo-Katan's castle, but how awesome would that be if Sabine was sitting there?
All comes back.
It all comes
Always.
back. Damn good and well we're going to see Sabine. I will be surprised if we don't see Sabine in this season.
Well, I thought when we were in the Droid Smiths, it'd be so cool if Sabine was just hanging out there.
Uh-huh.
It was a joke. I was just trying to find the least possible.
Hera. Yeah.
What if Hera was just hanging out with them?
What if Hera was just in the back corner going, hey, man, Chopper was there.
Well, that makes sense. But yeah, but it was a good episode, putting all the pieces in place. I'm excited to see where they're taking this. I thought it was exciting. Cool character development, not development, cool characters that they've developed for the show.
Yeah.
The pirates were cool. Vane was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I have a feeling the pirates are going to show back up right when he's getting everything together, and then the pirates are going to show up. It'll be one of those. It'll be classic, just storytelling where everything's finally going his way, and then here's the pirates to kick your ass and take you in. Yeah. Gosh, it just some of the stuff I've seen, not really going in. Like one of the Mandalorians, somebody had posted that one of the Mandalorians has Din's old armor, so it's like it makes sense if they reused his old armor.
Oh, really? I'm gonna watch this a third time.
Well, no. It was like on the trailer. Somebody had picked, when they were picking apart the trailer. Somebody had noticed that that the image was reversed, and when they reversed the image, they were like, "Oh, that's Din's old armor." So it makes sense. Stuff is starting to make sense, and I like I said, I'm starting to get above my skis, which I don't like doing when it comes to Star Wars, because then my headcanon explodes and it's not what I expected. But
yeah,
this season looks like it's going to be pretty damn incredible.
Yeah, I would imagine the New Republic shows up to slap Grief Karga for what he's doing. Yeah, and if you want protection, you need the New Republic sign here. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to happen. I think Bo-Katan is going to make a move to become leader of Mandalore. She's going to need that Darksaber. Yeah. She's not happy, and the only way she can get her place and become a leader again is if she has the Darksaber.
Right. And that's why she's pissed with Din, is because she told Din, don't fight Moff Gideon, that he's for me, and then the Moff Gideon engaged him, and then he won the Darksaber, and he's like, what the hell is this?
He didn't do it on purpose. He was doing it because it was a life or death situation.
Yeah. The more I think about it, and talking to you just makes me more excited. I was not this excited about this until we started talking, and then we were like Concordia, and I was like, oh crap. And then, oh crap. You start putting the pieces together, and I purposely didn't kind of start putting stuff together because I like saving stuff, and I like, the raw emotion of it. And this, oh my God, it's just like last night when we were trying to talk and you're like, wait a minute, let's save it for the show. It's going to be a good season, guys.
So we need to end the episode because my wife needs to use the room. So good stuff's coming. Thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. If it's allowed, it really helps us out and points people to our show. You can follow us on social media You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback. We'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy music. I'm thinking of 12 things in my head right now. You can find us.
Jason, hurry up. I need the room. You've been talking to your friend long enough. It's been almost 2 hours. Oh my God. I need stuff to do.
You can find us also at Toylanta. This year we'll be at the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors booth. So stop by if you listen and say hi. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. You could find him at Rock the Force Podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro re-release VC6, not carbonized. #vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community.